Hello, this is Richard Walker, the senior pastor of Macland Baptist Church here in Powder Springs, and I want to welcome you to our Forward by Faith campaign video. I'm sitting in the main sanctuary of Macland Baptist Church, and this sanctuary itself was constructed really only 11 years ago, and in 1996, when the members of our church moved in then, there was no one that had to sit in the balcony. Our choir loft was not completely filled. There was no orchestra, meaning no need for an orchestra pit or area. And the main floor of the sanctuary was only about 2/3 filled. And now 11 years later, as God has greatly blessed our church, we're now in 2 services. We have more than 900 that are here each week for morning worship. Our church continues to grow in Sunday school. Many of our Sunday school classes are now filled. In fact, educationally, we really have no place to add new Sunday school classes. And these are just some of the examples as to why we're now reaching out to you to ask for your help, to stand side by side with us as we step forward by faith and move in a new area for a new time of history in our church. We have plans right now to construct an 1,800-seat sanctuary, a brand new educational building that will be underneath that large sanctuary. We'll have greatly expanded choir loft space, a new orchestra area, and of course much needed new seating for those coming desiring to worship God and to learn more about Jesus Christ. In this video that you're about to watch, you're going to hear testimonies, you're going to hear interviews with many of our church leaders, and they will share this vision that God has placed on our heart, that they too believe we need to move forward in constructing new buildings, constructing new parking, helping to greatly expand our ministries where we will have the capability to continue moving forward in the way that we reach out to a lost and dying world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And as you watch this video, I hope that you will gain the same sense of excitement that they feel, the same sense of expectancy, and catch the same vision as God has spoken to us and is leading us to follow and be obedient on the path He set before us. So I hope you'll watch this prayerfully. I hope you'll watch this with an open mind and let God speak to your own heart, your own spirit, where you catch this same vision, where you stand shoulder to shoulder with us as we move forward by faith.
No, we started this church in 1965, 1966. And there was a group of us that left another church, a local church nearby, and I think it was about 96 or 97 of them. And we all got together and decided to form a new church. And Wendy Bagwell let us use his church down in Clarkdale. And we went in about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was our church service for that period of time. We used that for, I'm going to say, probably a couple of months, maybe even up to 3 months, as we determined what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it, but we already knew we're going to form a new church. And so we went to work trying to figure out how. And the first thing we did, everybody put money in the pot. And so had a guy named Mr. Wilkins on the Wilkins Circle out here, and we bought a piece of property from Mr. Wilkins. It was right at an acre, right next to the road, and he liked that. Matter of fact, he came to church after we got it built. We built a concrete block church. We built it 2 stories high, and it might have been 60 feet long and 30 or 40 feet wide, and that's where we started at.
We went and visited 2 or 3 other churches in the community for the next 2 or 3 Sundays, and then this group in the meantime had been meeting at somebody's house, and they came over and asked us if we would be willing to come in and join with them in this group and organize another church.
Macland Baptist Church past. Macland Baptist Church found its beginnings on January 16, 1966, when a small group of people met for the purpose of forming a gospel-preaching church in the Macland-McKeecher region of West Cobb County. This group met and voted to begin what was then known as Faith Baptist Mission. Original services were held at the site of Pleasant Grove Baptist Church in Austell, Georgia. But just a few weeks later, on February 13th, a vote was carried to create a constitution for a new church and to give it a new name. And so, Macland Baptist Church was born. That same month, 1.5 acres of land was purchased from the family of R.O. Wilkins at 3732 Macland Road for the price of $3,000. The sale was made on a handwritten agreement and down payment of $150.
From the simple beginning, a fledgling church began to grow. By March of 1966, the doors of membership were opened and 106 charter members were accepted. In April of that year, the first pastor of Macland was called. Reverend James T. Huckabee was elected as a part-time pastor, being employed at Fort McPherson. Church officers were elected, and the first treasurer's report had a bottom-line balance of $1,259 for this young church. In May of that year, the loan for the very first building built at our present church site was secured for the value of $20,000. This building would be the church's first education building and would also double as the sanctuary for the new church. Pews were loaned by a local funeral home to provide the seating in the early months.
From the very beginning, people responded to the call of the gospel. In September 1966, the first baptismal service was held at the Lake of Members Bobby and Joyce Cole on Macland Road. By the end of 1966, the total membership of Macland stood at 117. March 1968 saw the first service in a separate sanctuary building. The first dedicated sanctuary is the same building which today houses one of our numerous adult Sunday school classes. With the completion of this building, a cornerstone was laid containing a time capsule to be opened on the church's 50th anniversary, March 3, 2018. Through the 1970s, God continued to bless this new church as families were reached for Christ and membership grew steadily. Macland became a member of Noonday Baptist Association of Churches, a fellowship of like-minded and like-mission churches. As new families came to Macland, the need to expand facilities to meet the needs of growing ministry was required. An expansion of the educational building and creation of the fellowship hall and additional Sunday school space was added. Additional land was purchased to expand Macland's campus.
In the 80s, Macland began to increase its outreach by supporting the startup ministries of 2 local mission churches. God always blesses those who give that others may hear His word. For the light that shines the furthest shines brightest at home. As a result, Macland continued to grow. The church bought additional acreage from the Wilkins and Murray families. So significant was God's blessing upon Macland that it was chosen by the Southern Baptist Home Missions Board as the subject for a documentary film about growing churches.
Lois and I came to Macland in 1984, and since I've lived in the community for a lot of years, I knew a lot of people already that were at the church. But, of course, the church has always been known for its music, and Brother Johnny Foster, who was the pastor at that time, was an excellent pastor, and the church grew under his pastorate, and has really continued to grow ever since, even with subsequent pastors.
It was also known, they have a reputation for being a friendly church and a caring church. It was in '84 when we came, and it remains so today, very caring and friendly.